Ladies and gentlemen, we often fear hardship. We pray for ease, for comfort, for smooth paths and quiet waters. But let's take a moment today to flip that narrative, to look at comfort not as a blessing, but as a silent thief of our potential. Because the truth is, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Let's explore why through 5 powerful truths. Number 1. Comfort breeds complacency. Comfort, while often seen as a reward or goal, can quietly become the very thing that holds us back. When life becomes too easy, we naturally begin to settle. The urgency to improve, to push beyond limits, to take bold risks, begins to fade. We stop striving for more because we feel like we already have enough. It becomes tempting to protect what we have instead of pursuing what we could become. This state of comfort creates a sense of security that feels good in the moment, but is deceptive in the long run. The fire to grow slowly dies out, replaced by routine, convenience, and predictability. Complacency creeps in when there's no immediate need to fight, to change, or to hustle. When the bills are paid, when no one is pressuring us, when our talents are sufficient to get by, we stop sharpening them. We do just enough to maintain the status quo. And the truth is, the status quo is the enemy of progress. It makes us forget the hunger we once had. It dims the vision we once chased. Dreams begin to collect dust because comfort has told us, this is enough. But deep inside, we know it's not. There's always another level, another purpose, another impact waiting to be made. People don't usually fail because of hardship. They fail because they get too comfortable. They forget the discipline that got them to where they are. They stop growing not because they can't, but because they don't feel the need. But progress requires intention. It demands effort even when life doesn't demand it. The most dangerous place to be isn't at rock bottom. It's in a place where things are okay, but not great, where things are easy but uninspired. That's where potential dies quietly. Greatness is never born from a place of ease. It's born in struggle, forged in discipline, and fueled by a relentless desire to become more. If you want to grow, you must challenge yourself, especially when there's no external pressure. That means setting new goals when the old ones are met, seeking feedback even when you're praised, and staying hungry when life tries to make you lazy. The comfort zone might feel safe, but it's not where transformation happens. In fact, it's where dreams go to sleep. It's a slow, subtle drift away from purpose, and unless you recognize it, you won't even realize how far you've drifted until you're completely stuck. That's the danger of comfort. It doesn't yell, it whispers. It convinces you to take it easy just a little longer, to wait for the right time, to stay where it's warm and familiar. But progress only comes when you step outside of that. So don't let comfort rob you of your potential. Stay uncomfortable, stay curious, stay committed to becoming the best version of yourself, no matter how easy life tries to make it. Number 2. Hardship awakens strength. Hardship has a way of bringing out the parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. When everything is going smoothly, we often don't realize the depth of our own strength. We move through life comfortably, never needing to dig deep, never forced to confront our limits. But when life tests us, when we're thrown into storms we didn't expect and handed challenges we never asked for, that's when something inside us wakes up. That something is strength. True, raw, unshakable strength. Hardship strips away the unnecessary. It brings clarity. When you're in pain, overwhelmed, or broken, you stop caring about the trivial things. You stop chasing surface-level approval. You stop wasting time on distractions. All your energy gets focused on surviving, standing, rising. In that state, you discover an inner resilience that comfort could never reveal. The strength was always there, but it needed a reason to rise. There's a certain power that comes from knowing you've endured. You may not have chosen the hardship, but when you make it through, you carry with you a confidence that no one can give you and no one can take away. You face the fire and you're still standing. That matters. It changes you. It builds grit. It makes you mentally tougher, emotionally deeper, and spiritually wiser. And from that strength, you begin to live differently. You carry yourself with more purpose. You love with more compassion. You show up with more courage. Pain often feels like punishment, but it's also preparation. It prepares you for the next level. It stretches your capacity. It teaches you how to keep going when everything inside you wants to quit. It trains you to find strength not in what you have, but in who you are. The strongest people aren't the ones who have had the easiest paths. They're the ones who have suffered, who have fallen, who have doubted, but kept going anyway. And while hardship may bruise your spirit, it also refines your focus. You start appreciating things you once took for granted. You learn to be grateful for small victories. You find beauty in simplicity. You gain empathy for others because you know what pain feels like. All of these things are forms of strength, not just the ability to endure, but the wisdom, growth, and perspective that come from the battle. Hardship is never easy, but it is powerful. It wakes you up. It teaches you what really matters. And more than anything, it reveals your power. Not the kind of power that's loud and flashy, but the quiet, steady, unwavering kind. The kind that refuses to quit. The kind that doesn't need applause. The kind that says, I've been through worse and I'm still here. That is the strength hardship awakens. And once you tap into it, you will never be the same. Number 3. Struggle teaches discipline and focus. Struggle has a way of cutting through the noise. When life becomes difficult, we're forced to get serious. We don't have the luxury of wasting time, drifting through our days, or getting lost in distractions. Struggle demands that we pay attention. It teaches us to focus, not because it's convenient, but because it's necessary. When you're in the middle of a challenge, every move matters, every choice counts. You start to see what's truly important, and you lock in on it with intensity. This is where discipline is born, not in moments of comfort, but in the midst of chaos. When everything is easy, it's easy to slack off, to postpone effort, to make excuses, but when you're struggling, those excuses don't hold up. You realize that if you don't show up consistently, if you don't put in the work, you won't move forward. Struggle has a way of forcing you into discipline. It makes you organize your time, guard your energy, and be intentional about your habits. It doesn't allow room for laziness. You either commit or fall behind, and that kind of pressure molds you. Discipline isn't about motivation. It's about making a decision to keep going regardless of how you feel. And there's no better teacher of that principle than struggle. When you're uncomfortable, when you're facing failure, when you're doubting yourself but choosing to take the next step anyway, that's when discipline becomes real. You stop depending on your feelings and start depending on your habits. You start showing up even when it's hard, because you've learned that showing up is the only way through. Struggle also sharpens your focus. You become aware of how limited your time, energy, and attention are. You stop wasting your days on distractions or things that don't serve your purpose. You say no more often. You simplify your life. You become laser, focused on your goals because you don't want to stay stuck in the struggle. That focus becomes your fuel. It allows you to filter out the noise and direct all your energy towards something meaningful. And while it's uncomfortable in the moment, the discipline and focus you build during struggle stay with you for life. Even after the storm passes, you carry that strength. You know how to stick to a routine. You know how to keep your eyes on the goal. You know how to stay grounded when everything around you feels unstable. These are skills that not only get you through hard times, they also set you up for long-term success. So even though struggle hurts, it trains you, it sharpens your edge, it builds a foundation of discipline and focus that comfort could never give. You may not choose struggle, but if you let it, struggle will shape you into someone who can handle anything. And that transformation, that strength of character, is worth every difficult step along the way. Number 4. Growth lives in discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy, familiar, and under control. It happens when we are pushed beyond our limits, when we step into the unknown, when we're stretched by situations that make us uncomfortable. Discomfort is not something to run from, it's something to lean into, because that very discomfort is the signal that we are on the edge of something new, something better, something that will change us. When we do the things that scare us, challenge us, or shake us up, we open the door to real transformation. It's easy to stay where we feel safe, to repeat the same routines, think the same thoughts, surround ourselves with people who don't question us. But safety doesn't bring change. Comfort doesn't demand more from us. Only discomfort forces us to grow. It challenges our thinking, tests our patience, and forces us to adapt. Think about the moments in life that changed you the most. Chances are they weren't easy. Maybe it was a job you weren't ready for, a loss you didn't see coming, a move to a new place, or a decision that scared you. In those moments, you were stretched. You had to learn fast, adjust, and dig deep. You may not have realized it at the time, but you were growing. Your strength, your resilience, your confidence. Those things were built in discomfort, not in ease. Discomfort also teaches us humility. It reminds us that we don't know everything, that we're still learning. It keeps us grounded and open to feedback. That humility is critical for growth, because without it, we stop listening, stop improving, and stop reaching. When we're willing to be uncomfortable, willing to look foolish, to start over, to be a beginner, we make room for real development. Even physically, growth requires stress. Muscles grow when they are torn. Skills improve when they are tested. Mental strength is built when we go through trials and still choose to show up. It's the resistance that makes us stronger. Discomfort is that resistance. And while it may feel like pain, it's actually progress. So the next time you feel nervous, stretched, uncertain, or challenged, don't back down, don't run. That discomfort is trying to elevate you. It's shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Growth is uncomfortable by design. It's meant to unsettle you. That's how you know it's working. If you wait until you feel ready or until everything is perfect, you'll never move forward. Growth asks that you step before you're fully prepared. That you trust the process even when it's messy. That you stay the course even when the path isn't clear. In the end, the most powerful version of you is waiting on the other side of discomfort. Embrace it. Let it teach you. Let it build you. Because that's where real, lasting growth lives. And it's worth every step outside your comfort zone. Number 5. Ease can trick you into thinking you've made it. Ease has a deceptive quality. It can make you feel like you've arrived, like the hard part is over, like you no longer need to push, grow, or strive. When things are going well, when there's no immediate struggle, when your work feels effortless and your life feels stable, it's tempting to believe you've made it. But that sense of arrival can be dangerous, because the moment you believe you've made it is often the moment you stop progressing. Success, in any form, can lull you into complacency. You start to relax. You start to coast. You may still be moving, but you're no longer stretching yourself. You stop doing the small, difficult things that once got you to where you are. You stop learning with urgency. You stop improving with intention. The hunger that drove you fades into comfort, and over time that comfort becomes a trap, a beautiful, soft, silent trap. The truth is, real growth and sustained success require constant effort. There's no finish line. No matter how much you've accomplished, there's always another level to reach. But ease tricks you into thinking you've reached the top. It whispers, you don't need to work that hard anymore, or you've earned the right to slow down. And while rest and celebration are important, they should never replace discipline and vision. Many people lose momentum not because they weren't capable of more, but because they got too comfortable with less. They mistook a temporary win for a final victory. They let the applause convince them that they no longer needed to train, to study, to hustle. But the truth is, what got you here won't keep you here. The mindset that created your breakthrough must continue to evolve, or it will slowly decay. Ease also hides the gaps in our character, work ethic, and systems. When things are going well, problems stay hidden. Weak habits don't seem urgent. Lack of planning doesn't seem risky, but ease delays consequences. It doesn't erase them. Eventually, the cracks begin to show, and by then, the fire to fix them has often faded. That's why it's so important to stay humble and hungry, even in seasons of ease. Recognize that ease is not a sign to stop, it's a test to see if you'll keep going without the pressure. Can you still show up with excellence when no one is pushing you? Can you keep growing when no one is watching? Can you maintain your edge when life feels smooth? True winners understand that progress is a lifelong pursuit. They don't let comfort dull their vision. They use ease as a moment to refuel, not retire, because they know that the feeling of having made it is often just an illusion. The journey is never over. There is always more to give, more to learn, more to become. So never let ease convince you that you've finished, because the real work begins when the pressure fades. So if you're facing hardship right now, don't resent it. Harness it. Let it shape you, sharpen you, stretch you. And if life feels easy, watch out. Ask yourself if you're really growing or just coasting. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, not in comfort. Progress requires effort. Advancement demands adversity. And greatness is never born in ease, it's carved out of struggle. So chase the challenge, choose growth over comfort, because in the end, hardship won't destroy you. It will define you. God bless you.